Hi, I'm Dr. Scholes. Let's talk about prostate cancer. In this video, we're going to cover dietary practices for prostate cancer patients. I'm not going to try and cover the specifics of what type of diet. I'm going to talk about a general overriding principle, a fairly simple concept, and then there's tons of information you can pursue to learn more about the details. The overriding principle for prostate cancer patients is vegetarianism, vegan diets, avoidance of animal products in the diet. And I contend that it's very hard to change your diet, and you're going to need to have a good, strong basis for why you're doing this to be able to carry through and be consistent. There's three broad lines of evidence that all point towards vegan diets for prostate cancer patients. The first was my own personal experience with patients in my early practice who would come to me with a passion for going on a diet to treat their prostate cancer. It's not at all unusual. What's unusual is that prostate cancer can be monitored with PSA testing, and you can actually see whether or not there's an impact. Men who have rising PSAs after surgery, for example, can have their PSA levels plotted out in sequential fashion, and you can see the growth rate of the tumor when it's untreated. I was rather surprised when men would go on strong vegan diets or macrobiotic diets, and their PSAs, which had previously been rising in a steady, consistent fashion, would stop rising quickly within a month and level off and remain stable as long as they were faithful with their diets. At the same time, these diets were so stringent that the men would lose weight, and I discovered that people who were claiming to be on vegetarian diets and weren't losing weight didn't see much impact on their PSA levels. Prior to patients approaching their prostate cancer this way, I was not a believer, but consistent outcomes, like I just described to you, changed my thinking about how diet impacts prostate cancer. The second thing that has reaffirmed this belief that vegetarianism has an inhibitory effect on prostate cancer growth has to do with the metabolic nature of prostate cancer, which is rather different from other types of cancers. Relatively new technology using radioactive fats, C11 acetate and choline PET scans, or protein, Axamin PET scans, show that prostate cancer feeds on both fats and amino acids, direct derivatives of animal products. So when people go with a vegetarian type diet, they are avoiding the types of amino acids and proteins that are typical in animal tissue, and that's what prostate cancer cells are made out of. This is a very good explanation for why these vegan diets are causing an inhibitory effect on the growth of prostate cancer cells, as reflected in how fast the PSA is rising. There's a third line of evidence that says the exact same thing, and this has to do with a book written by Dr. Colin Campbell called The China Study, extensive multi-million-dollar research in China, looking at dietary patterns in all cancers, including prostate cancer. Dr. Campbell's studies showed that the regions of China where people were eating very small amounts of animal protein had much lower cancer rates, including prostate cancer. These studies, again, were not designed to answer this question. They were just looking, generally speaking, at dietary patterns, and this is what they discovered. The lower the amount of animal protein intake, the lower the incidence of cancers, including prostate cancer. So three separate lines of evidence all point towards avoiding animal protein for patients who have prostate cancer.
I know in other studies sugar has been shown to feed other types of cancer. Is that true in prostate?
Very, very advanced prostate cancer, when it gets out of control and spreads all over the body, can learn how to feed on sugar.